From the John DeVita Broadcast Center, it's time for Wealth and Wisdom with Fred Belcastro on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network and Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM Norwich on Friday, December the 11th, the year of our Lord, 2015. And now, here he is, live in person, and also waiting for Santa Claus, Mr. Fred Belcastro.
When you're smiling,
When you're smiling,
when you're smiling,
when you're smiling,
and the whole world smiles with you.
smiles with you.
And when you're laughing,
When you're laughing,
oh, you're laughing.
oh, you're laughing,
When the sun comes shining through.
shining through.
When you're crying,
When you're crying,
you bring on the rain.
bring on the
Stop
rain.
your sighing.
Stop your sighing,
Won't you be happy again?
happy again.
When you're smiling,
When you're smiling,
keep on smiling,
keep on smiling.
and the world will smile.
Good morning and welcome once again to the Wealth and Wisdom program. My name is Fred Belcastro, your host, and during the next 30 minutes, we'll talk about using our wisdom to grow and protect our wealth. And as usual, we're broadcasting from the John DeVita Broadcast Center here on the northwest side of Chicago. You're listening to us on Jack FM 89.7 WRHS out of Norwich, Illinois. For the last couple of weeks, we've been talking about never losing money, never taking a chance, never... Oh, by the way, let me... I've got a note here like Ray Rayner. I've got notes all over the place. Let me comment about a call from one of our listeners in the area, Esther. She asked me about where do I put my business. That's what it came down to. And I thought, well, no time like the present. Might as well mention. I place a lot of my super Roth business with Penn Mutual. It's a Penn Mutual life insurance company. It's a company that was formed 1847. There was a small number of mutual life insurance companies formed in America at that time, and Penn Mutual is one of the oldest. Very fine company, rated superior by Best Insurance Rating Services, and you can't get any higher than a superior rating. But Esther, there I mentioned it, and now let me just set that aside. If you have any questions, or as long as I mentioned Penn Mutual, if you have any beneficiary changes or any questions about your Penn Mutual policy, just give me a call. Area 630-673-4360. Let me just say, too, that previous to this, my office has been out in St. Charles, Illinois, but now it's moved to the area of Higgins and Cumberland. All right, let me talk about what I came here to talk about, and that's your money. And we'll set aside the super Roth or talk of those things for another day. Remember the safety, growth, income, liquidity, and tax efficiency that we said that your portfolio should consist of? And I said, take those 5, write them down, take those 5 requirements, and ask your advisor about it. Is your portfolio safe? Do you have guaranteed growth? In other words, tomorrow, is your plan going to be worth more guaranteed than it is today? Does it provide you with an income? Let's suppose Social Security. Each year you get a statement from Social Security. I remember it having to do with something stating that by 2016, they would run out of money or the available dollars to renew the benefits, and the money that they had in the trust fund, if you can call it a trust fund, was just going to last a limited number of years. Do you have an income so that if Social Security is decreased by 50 or 75 or 25%, do you have a guaranteed income for life? How about liquidity? Do we have our plans in a place where we could reach our money in the event we needed it without penalties? And of course, if we're contributing to qualified plans, our tax efficiency has been demised, because of course that's going to be taxed when we receive it mandatorily by 70.5 as ordinary income. Most of the safety, and I think we'll talk about the safety today to begin the program. We put money into our company-sponsored plans, the 401ks or the IRAs, and for the most part, this money is going into unsafe products. In other words, I talk about guarantees, guaranteed safety. You could have guaranteed safety or guaranteed not safe. And when you put your dollars into a mutual fund, that's guaranteed not safe. There is no guarantee in the stock market that your dollars are going to be worth more tomorrow than they are today. Well, when we went through these 5 programs, the safety, growth, income, liquidity, and tax efficiency, we said, is there anything else that should be added to that, to those 5 requirements? And we kind of thought, no, that just about handles everything. If we can't get at our money, and if it's not safe, and it's not efficient as far as taxation is concerned, that's pretty much that's all we would really require. We would want something to be safe. And is our mutual funds safe? Well, I have before me a chart showing from 1988 to 2012 the S&P 500 growth. And we've had some pretty good years, except for 1981, where it went down 13 points. 1990 it went down. So I'm telling you this, and I'm saying this on the air because I want to put in your mind, how safe could it be if it would go down? Oh, we would recover? We'll talk about that in a few minutes too. Let me just mention 1990, it lost 6.5%. 1994 went down 1.5%. Not bad, 1%. How about in the year 2000? Do you remember how you felt when you opened up your mutual fund statements at that point because it had decreased by 10%? All right, 2001, there was 13% reduction. So 2 years in a row we had, whoops. And in 2002, what did we have? 23% reduction. And then we've had one just a few years ago. Just part of a cycle. This happens every 5 to 7 years, doesn't it? Doesn't it go in accordance with the with a business cycle, the boom and the bust? In 2008, let me remind you that it was 38.5%, a decrease of 38.5%. How about if you had a super Roth in which you had no loss? How would that work out for you? How would that be? Do you think that'd be something good to have? Let's take a look at some of the losses, and let's try to change our thinking a little bit. Look at it with a new approach or fresh eyes. Let me make 2 statements about investment losses that maybe you're not familiar with. Number 1, losses are always more devastating than we allow ourselves to believe. We could have a loss in our portfolios of 10 or 20 or even 30 or close to 40% as it did in 2008. And we could say, well, yeah, if you're not taking a loss from time to time, you're not really in the game. You know, losses from time to time are just part of the way we gain access to the big gains, to the big money, to the, you know. No, listen, that's not true. That's what we're told, because we have to be told something when we lose 40% of our funds. The brokers, advisors that put us in those funds had to come up with some explanation for our paper loss. Remember we talked about paper losses? Never once did they ever say, or did any broker ever say, well, that's just a paper gain, you see. We call it paper losses, meaning the insignificance. But let's use new eyes. Let's remember the program is wealth and wisdom. Let's apply some wisdom, some clear thinking to it. Number 2, losses are irrecoverable. You know, we could make that up. We could have a 20 or 30% loss. And if we stay tight with the market and the market performs as it has in the past, do you remember that? We drove down the street looking in a rearview mirror. We always go by the past, but the past is no guarantee for future results. But nevertheless, in the past, the account balance might recover, you see. But the losses, my friends, my listeners, folks, the losses can never be recovered. Let me illustrate. All right, Dick and Jane. I put two people together, Dick and Jane, or Jack and Jill. All right, let's say each of them have $100,000. You don't have to go to the blackboard for that. For this is a very simple explanation. Each of them have $100,000. The rule of 72 in financial services, the rule of 72 means that your money will double in 10 years if it earns a rate of 7.2. That's where they get this 7.2. But using that as a way of explanation, let's just say you're earning 7.2, the money's going to double in 10 years, you've got $100,000, it's going to be worth $200,000 at the end of that 10-year period. And let's take Jack. We get Jill. She did real fine. She put $100,000 in there, and it doubled, and now she has $200,000. Jack did the same thing, same 7.2, except he had a small 5% loss during the 10-year period. At the end of 10 years, he had a 5% loss, but yet earned 7.2 every other year. How much less money do you think he has? Well, we don't have to compute it. I've got the figures already worked out. He didn't lose $1,500 or $3,000 or anything like that. He lost $34,000. You see, he has $34,000 less. So instead of $200,000 that Jill has, Jack only has $165,700. Do you know what that computes to? Do you know what the percentage of that decrease is? It's 20%. So Jill has 20% more than Jack. Does that make a difference to you? Now, let's look at that. He said he just had a 5% loss in just 1 year. How does that equate, or how can we translate that to Jill ending up with 20% more than Jack at the end of the 10-year period of time? Well, friends, remember maybe 6-8 months ago we were talking about the miracle and the wonder of compound interest. Yeah, but compound interest, when it works for you, it's great. It's the magic. But when it works against you, it can destroy your entire portfolio. And that's what it does here. It'll destroy your portfolio. Just a little loss every now and then. Well, didn't I just tell you about a 10% loss, 13% loss, 38% loss? You know, how much do you hope to have in your account when you retire? Is it going to be $1 million, $5 million? If over the time that we're investing, the 30 or 40-year period of time, or 25, 20, 10-year period of time, you have one little 5% setback. Then instead of $1 million, you know what you'll have? You'll have 20% less. You'll have $800,000, $832. Instead of $5 million, you'll have $4 million. Does that make a difference in your world? Is that going to change your thinking, your arrangements for your retirement plan? You see, you don't recover those losses. So what I mean by that is that you could say, well, it's just part of the game. I've got to take the loss in order to make the gains. You got to invest. If you can't afford to invest, you shouldn't have your money at risk. And don't forget, we're not talking about $10 or $20 that you're going to the track with, or you're betting on fantasy football or some other game. We're talking about your serious money. This is your family's money for retirement. You're dumping, in some cases, 100% of your future security into something that's not safe by its own definition. I do what? What do I do too much? What do you mean I talk too much? Well, let me take a break now and have a cup of coffee. What do you mean talk too much? I don't talk too much.
people, you can make me scream. You just talk. You talk too much. You talk too much, you worry me to death. You talk too much, you even worry my pet. You just talk. You talk too much. You talk about people that you don't know. You talk about people wherever you go. You just talk. You talk too much. You talk about people that you never seen. You talk about people, you can make me scream. You just talk. Talk too much.
That was You Talk Too Much by little Vinny Guzzo from Gretna, Louisiana. No, that's not the name we know him by. We know him by Frankie Ford. He was born in 1939 in Gretna, Louisiana, and of course recorded You Talk Too Much in 1960. I played his song, and we'll do another one of his songs a little bit later. He just passed on. He was 76 years old on September 28th. He passed away in Gretna, Louisiana, the town in which he was born. So a great voice, some great sounds that he brought to us in the late 50s and 60s. We talk about losses that we can occur in our portfolio from time to time. It's all in the game, my friend, but this is your serious money. This is your family's money, your wife and kids' money. And I talk about the losses being irrecoverable. Well, what do I mean? You can't shrug off these losses as part of the cost of being in the game or taking the field. Let me tell you, if we have, well, let's just go back to Jack and Jill. She had $100,000. It grew at 7.2 to $200,000 in 10 years. Jack had that 5% loss within that 10-year period of time, so he wound up with instead of $200,000, $165,000. So remember this, realize this, that if they both go on to make successes of their portfolios, they double them over the next 10 years. She had $200,000. She has $400,000. How much does Jack end up with? $331,000. You see, his doubled as well. The difference is $68,000 that Jill has more than Jack. Why? The 20% loss is still there. So we can shrug off the losses and saying, yeah, I recovered my value. Yeah, you will recover the value. But that loss, for the last 2 years I've been talking about these costs and expenses. One of the costs that I talk about is the market fluctuation and the opportunity cost. We didn't even add opportunity cost to this loss. But if we did, it would be in the thousands of dollars. Does a couple of $1,000 a year make a difference to us? I think it might. See, just keep in mind that we really never recover any of the losses. We'll recover the value in the portfolio, but not the losses. They'll stay. And this is one of the big tenets of mainstreamers. This is the part of the deceit. You've got to focus, and as advisors, we always tried in the past to make the clients focus on the success. You've made this. You've made $331,000. You made $165,000 without looking or calling any attention to the losses. You congratulate Jack. We could congratulate him for coming up with a portfolio. He started with 10,000 20 years ago, and now he has 300,000. Wow, put a feather in our caps. Didn't we earn our 4% a year? But let's look at the facts. Again, wealth along with their wisdom. Has anyone ever told you about this? Has anyone ever, your parents, teachers, or Dave Ramsey or Wall Street Journal, any of the investment advisors, ever shown you the devastating impact of something like this before? They should have. You know, does it make you feel differently about how you could seriously approach these losses, or how important a defensive position is? When we talk about safety, I'm talking about trading insecurity, trading security risk for guaranteed security. We talk about being safe, and yet we put our serious money with something that is guaranteed not safe. Does it make you sick to think about taking a 30% loss in 2008? And if we take just a 5% hiccup over the next 10 years, how devastating that would be in our portfolios? It would decrease them by 20%. Is that smart? How many times over the course of our investments? Remember, I talk about 10, 20, 30, or maybe even 40 years. Over that 30 or 40 year period, how likely is it that the market will take a loss? Does the market ever go down by more than 5%? Like 30, almost 40%? Does it ever just go flat? Do you earn anything on your money when it goes flat? You say, gee, I haven't lost anything. I've been pretty much the same way. Wait a second. You got 150,000, 200,000, $250,000, $500,000, and it's flat, and it doesn't pay you anything all year, yet you feel good about that? Yeah, you'll go at the end of the month and drop another $2,000 into a plan like that? Have you ever lost 5%? Do you know what I'm talking about? So when I say these figures, they're not just pie in the sky. You take a loss of, what do we talk about? 10%, easy to do, 10%, and then we have 6% growth. Do you know what that comes out to? It'll take about a year and a half, 2 years before we can make up that difference. How about that 30 or close to a 40% loss? Do you realize that at 6% growth, you're going to take about 8.5 years to make up that decrease? When we talk about going to our advisors, bringing them a list of requirements, this is our serious money. Do we want this safety? Do we want to be secure? Guaranteed risk or guaranteed loss or guaranteed security? When we go to sleep at night, don't we want to be able to have those gains that we've earned? Remember, you received a paycheck. You received a paycheck based on the amount of dollars that you've earned. You've earned some money, so you're entitled to this paycheck. How do you like taking cuts in pay? You wouldn't like it if we took a cut in pay by 5%. Your insurance is going to cost you 8% more, 10% reduction, and taxes are going up by 8 or 10%. We'll talk about that next week. But you'd bolt, you react, you say, I don't want this, I don't like it. Yet, my friend, you take a 40% loss in your serious money, not just a paycheck, in your total savings from the time that you open up your communion envelopes until now, and you think it's all part of the game? Let's listen to our friend Frankie Ford once again with his most popular song.
Join me, please. I don't
That was Frankie Ford's most popular Sea Cruise from 1959. And once again, let's thank Mr. Vincent Guzzo for those fine sounds that he gave to us. Speaking of fine things that are given to us, how about advice from Warren Buffett, the most notable investor of our times? What did he say about portfolios? What did he tell you? He said, never lose money. Okay? Never lose money. John D. Rockefeller, at one time the richest man in the world, one of the richest men certainly in the United States, he said, if I had to give any advice, it would be to keep out of Wall Street. So my friends, with our serious money, I'm not saying maybe a super Roth or a guaranteed insurance product fits every situation, but it certainly would warrant us taking a look. Let's sometimes open up our minds a little more to discover what's possible, what's really available, and how we could lock in year-to-year gains without taking any of these losses. Because if our portfolios are not safe, and this is our serious money that we're going to live on for the rest of our lives, what good is it that if we accumulate $2 million and it's not safe? We go in a boat to go up to Mackinac Island in a boat and it's not safe. How smart is that? Anyway, that's just about all the time that we have for our program this morning. I'd like to thank you for listening. Thanks to Esther and all the people that either send us an email or call us on the phone. Once again, the number is 630-area 673-4360. Thanks for listening, and we've got some nice weather coming up. If you have an opportunity to doing something nice for your friends or neighbors, certainly let's take advantage of the warm weather and do something nice for somebody. And during the time that we have, let's go out there and make somebody smile. Thanks for listening. Look forward to talking to you again next week.
When you're smiling,
When you're smiling,
when you're smiling,
when you're smiling,
and the whole world smiles with you. And when you're laughing,
when you're laughing,
oh, you're laughing.
oh, you're laughing,
And the sun comes shining through.
shining through.
When you're crying,
When you're crying,
you bring on the rain.
bring on the
Stop
rain,
your sighing.
stop your sighing,
Won't you be happy again?
happy again.
When you're smiling,
When you're smiling,
keep on smiling.
keep on smiling.
And the world will smile with you.
Let's go now. Let's go, Sam.
You have been listening to Wealth and Wisdom with Fred Belcastro from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on Jack FM 89.7 WRHS FM Norwich and the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network on Friday, December the 11th, the year of our Lord, 2015. This broadcast was directed by John DeVita. Our special thanks to radio station manager Kevin Zeplik of WRHS FM Norwich and the executive producer of Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network, Mr. John Seconda. Until next time, please be safe and thanks for listening. Today's broadcast was pre-recorded on Wednesday, December the 9th, the year 2015. And this is Jack Frost FM, 89.7 WRHS FM, Norwich, Illinois, a Ridgewood Community High School radio station. Have a great day and a terrific weekend. See you next week.